Kathy Blair, a cherished choir instructor and single mother, tragically lost her life in a brutal act of violence. While she was asleep, she was stabbed multiple times in her chest and neck, and her lifeless body was discovered by her son on December 6, 2014. Even though a jewelry box had been forcibly opened, there were no further indications of a failed burglary. Strangely, valuable items like laptops and TVs were left untouched. The Austin police suspected that the murder scene was carefully staged to appear as a robbery, with Blair as the deliberate target. However, the lack of DNA evidence and usable fingerprints made it challenging to uncover the motives behind the crime. But one clue emerged. A bloody shoe imprint suggested that the perpetrator had walked through Blair's blood after the stabbing. Detectives embarked on a challenging investigation, starting with those close to Blair. They started with her son, Joseph Hargis, who tragically found his mother's lifeless body on December 6th. He was swiftly eliminated as a suspect. Their attention then shifted to Blair's former husband, but he too was eventually ruled out as a suspect. As detectives delved deeper into the murder details, they pondered the unusual timing of the crime. Most burglaries occur during the day when homes are empty, raising questions about why a robber would strike in the middle of the night. They also meticulously analyzed the shoe print, which provided information about the brand, size, and the distinct gait of the owner. Several days after the murder, a breakthrough occurred when one of Blair's neighbors, Rob Leaf, came forward with a crucial piece of evidence. In the early hours of the day when Blair's lifeless body was discovered, Rob had been outdoors testing a thermal scope camera. He had captured footage on his thermal scope, revealing an individual exiting a vehicle and approaching Blair's residence. The video unveiled the silhouette of a person with broad shoulders and an unsteady gait, along with details about the individual's car. Although somewhat blurry, this footage was gradually forming a picture for the investigators. As the investigation progressed, one of Kathy's friends revealed that Kathy had confided in her about an unsettling handyman who had worked at her residence during the spring. Kathy's landlord corroborated this information, informing the investigators that the handyman in question went by the name Tim Parlin. Parlin had a prior criminal history, having served a sentence for jewel heists. Following their interview with Parlin, detectives couldn't rule him out as a potential suspect. Nonetheless, they noticed that his stature did not align with the description from the thermal image on the videotape. However, discrepancies in his alibi led detectives to search a short-stay hotel where Parlin had been staying. During a search of his room, officials discovered a pawnshop receipt for a pendant that had been pawned on the same day Blair's body was discovered. Surveillance footage from the pawnshop implicated Parlin and his vehicle, which matched the one captured in the thermal image. Subsequently, detectives obtained a warrant to seize Parlin's vehicle. In the midst of an intense questioning session, Parlin redirected detectives to Sean Gant Benalcazar. This suggestion raised suspicions among investigators, since Sean had a clean record, a solid education, and resided 3 hours away in Galveston. Nevertheless, investigators decided to meet with Sean in Galveston. Even though Sean initially denied any knowledge of the murder, he admitted to being in Austin and staying with Parlin during the occurrence of the homicide. During a break in questioning, detectives noticed that Sean's physical appearance and gait matched the figure in the infrared video. Additionally, his shoes were a match for the bloody shoe impression at Blair's crime scene. Eventually, Sean confessed to entering Blair's house and committing the murder.
She woke up, she lunged at me, grabbed the knife, started trying to wrestle it out of my hand. And then it was a struggle, and I stabbed her in the neck. I didn't even want to do it. I was trying to get the jewelry without doing it.
In Texas, complicity in a crime can result in equal responsibility. Consequently, prosecutors charged Parlin with capital murder, carrying an automatic life sentence. In November 2018, Sean was convicted of capital murder and received a life sentence without the possibility of parole.